This is just about a necessity on any front porch, the old porch swing. You know, porches are great because you can get out of the sun and kind of relax a little bit, breeze blowing, you can kind of keep up with the neighbors, and it's also a great place for the neighbors to come over and sit and chat a little while. Now, the homeowners here tell me it's very hard to relax out here when you're looking around at all the water damage around the railings themselves. And let me show you what I mean. Now, we're pretty lucky here on this porch in that there's a fairly long overhang. With a wider overhang like this, you're not worrying about so much water getting on the porch. But of course, with blowing rains, there will be some situations like that. And over the years, you can see where some of the porch boards had to be replaced here. And they did a fair job, even though it would have been better if those had been laced in a little bit. But the damage on the railings is pretty significant down on this end of the porch. And the reason for that is a very common problem with homes in that they've let their landscaping grow a little bit closer to the porch than they should have. And as a result, when the railings get wet, they stay wet and cause it to rot a lot quicker. You can see here in the corner, obviously, we have some boards to replace down on the floor itself. Then the spindles, a lot of these are just about ready to completely come apart. So what we've done is we've taken one of the spindles next to it here that was in fair shape. We took it to the mill workshop so that they could reproduce the exact style of spindle that we need. Let's check in and see how our mill workshop's doing.
In order to reproduce the spindles that were on the house originally, have to have a sample, and we'll start with an existing piece and a turning square, and simply do a layout of where the profiles need to be, and from there we'll just start turning. Once we get a few of the edges knocked off, we got a caliper. We'll set the depth, then we'll start adding some profiles. We can work to an edge and get the round that we need, and then start with your pattern, and you're there. It really comes from an awful lot of experience. Basically, that's it. We're done. And you can lay this baluster right up on top of the other one, and you can hardly tell the difference.
With all of our spindles complete and out on the job, we can really move forward with the replacement of all the damaged wood we had on the handrails around our porch, but also a lot of porch boards. Now, we're really replacing a lot more than we had planned on because, unfortunately, we found a lot more damaged wood once we started tearing it out. Now, first thing we did is remove the rails along the perimeter of this part of the porch. Even had to jack up the column on the corner in order to slip the new boards underneath. Now, we could have just pieced it in like they've done on several areas of the porch like this, but a butt joint like that really doesn't look very good. It needs to be spliced in, particularly areas along the edge. There's a number of them on this side of the porch here at the column, even right out in the middle. Well, the homeowner really didn't like this look, and neither do we, so he's decided to have us replace all of the boards full length all the way down this side of the porch, right back to where it 45s here on the corner of the porch. Now, this means a lot more work and, unfortunately, a little more expense, but it's really the right way to go. Now, since the homeowner's so committed to doing this the right way, we certainly want to do our part in actually priming both sides of the new treated wood. This will really seal out any chance of moisture getting in and causing problems down the road. Now, we've got a lot more work to do since we've made this decision. More columns have to be jacked up as we work our way down the porch. Then we trim off all of the excess before we bevel and sand the outer edge of the decking. When it comes time to rebuild the rails, we actually reuse the old top rail since it's in great shape. The bottoms of the balusters are cut with an inward bevel so that they mate with the bottom rail, which we created ourselves to match the original one. The tricky part is making sure the spacing works so that everything matches when we're done. What a nice tight joint on the porch floor. That really looks good. And we're almost finished with this one. A little bit of painting on the floor, it's complete. A little priming and painting on some of our spindles. It'll all be done.